Have you ever walked into a home and immediately felt a sense of peace? A feeling that this isn't just a structure, but a living, breathing entity with a story? That the walls themselves seem to whisper tales of family, of fiestas, of long, lazy afternoons in the sun? In our fast-paced, often sterile modern world, we crave this connection. We yearn for homes that don't just look good on a screen, but that feel good to our very souls. What if I told you that the secret to creating this profound sense of belonging, this timeless warmth, has been perfected over centuries? It's not in a sleek, minimalist box, but in the sun-baked hills of Spain, in the shaded courtyards of Andalusia, and in the rustic farmhouses of the countryside. Today, we are embarking on a design journey to discover how you can transform your home with the authentic, soul-stirring magic of Spanish interior design. Forget the cold and the impersonal. We're about to welcome in the warmth, the texture, and the unshakable spirit of La Vida Española. Section 1, The Soul of the Style, Understanding Spanish Design's Core DNA. Before we even think about picking out a paint color or a single piece of furniture, we have to understand the why. Spanish design isn't merely an aesthetic. It's a philosophy born from the land and its history. Imagine the rugged Spanish landscape, arid plains, sun-drenched coastlines, and mountainous regions. The architecture and design evolved as a direct response to this environment. The goal was always protection and comfort, creating cool, serene havens from the relentless sun. This is why you see such thick, stuccoed walls and small windows in traditional homes. They are natural insulators. But it's more than just practicality. Spain is a cultural tapestry woven from Roman, Moorish, Gothic, and Renaissance influences. The intricate geometric patterns you see in tiles, a legacy of the Moors. The grand, solid furniture, a nod to the Gothic era. The ornate ironwork, a Renaissance flourish. So, when we talk about authentic Spanish design, we are talking about a style that is inherently layered, historically rich, and deeply connected to the earth. It's a style that values character and patina over perfection, and soul over slickness. Now, let's break this philosophy down into its three beating hearts. The first is a connection to the earth. Spanish design is unapologetically earthy. It uses materials that are sourced locally, that age gracefully, and that feel real to the touch. We're talking about terracotta, rough-sawn wood, wrought iron, and natural stone. There's no vinyl pretending to be wood, no laminate masquerading as stone. This authenticity creates a grounded, stable energy in a home. The second heart is a celebration of craftsmanship. This is not a style for mass-produced, flat-pack furniture. Every piece tells a story of the artisan who made it. The slightly uneven curve of a forged iron hinge, the unique variations in hand-painted tiles, the carvings on a centuries-old wooden chest. These imperfections are where the beauty truly lies. They are proof of human hands at work. And the third, and perhaps most important heart, is the embrace of life and community. Spanish homes are designed for living, for gathering, for eating, talking, and celebrating. The rooms often flow into one another, centered around a courtyard or a large, welcoming kitchen. So how do we translate this profound philosophy into your modern home, which might be in a suburb, a city apartment, or a rural townhouse? The key is to focus on the principles, not a slavish historical recreation. You don't need a hacienda to capture this spirit. You need to embrace the ethos. Choose natural materials. Invest in handcrafted pieces where you can, and arrange your space to encourage togetherness. Think about how the light moves through your rooms. Consider the textures you introduce. Plan for spaces where people can congregate comfortably. This foundational understanding is our compass. It will guide every decision we make from here on out, ensuring our design doesn't just look Spanish, but that it genuinely feels Spanish, warm, alive, and wonderfully human. Section 2. The Architectural Bones, Creating the Foundation. If the philosophy is the soul, then the architecture is the skeleton. These are the permanent, foundational elements that give a Spanish-style home its unmistakable character. Getting these bones right is 80% of the battle, and the good news is, many of these features can be incorporated or mimicked, even if you're not doing a full-scale renovation. Let's start from the top, literally, the ceiling. This is where you can make a truly dramatic statement. Authentic Spanish homes often feature exposed, dark wood beams known as vigas. These are not just decorative. They are structural, and they bring a sense of grandeur and rustic weight to a room. Now, if your home doesn't have these, don't fret. You can have faux vigas installed, or even use high-quality polyurethane replicas that are incredibly realistic and lightweight. Another stunning ceiling option is the cathedral or barrel vault ceiling, often finished in smooth or textured plaster. This creates a beautiful soaring volume that feels both ancient and majestic, and it works beautifully in living rooms, hallways, or even a primary bedroom. Next, let's talk about the walls. This is not the place for a perfectly smooth, modern drywall finish. Spanish walls have texture and substance. The classic finish is stucco. It's a plaster that creates a soft, undulating, and deeply tactile surface that plays with light and shadow in the most beautiful way. The color is often integral to the plaster, meaning it's not painted on, but part of the material itself, giving it incredible depth. The most classic color is a warm, whitewashed look, but it can also be in earthy tones like ochre, sienna, or a soft, sun-bleached pink. If applying full stucco isn't an option, you can achieve a similar effect with textured paint techniques like a skip trowel finish, or even with high-quality, thick Venetian plaster. Another wonderful wall element is the niche. These are recessed alcoves built into the wall, often framed with a simple arch or tilework. They are the perfect spot to display a beautiful piece of pottery, a religious icon, a candle, or a small collection of cherished objects, adding layers of personal history and architectural interest. Now for the floors. Underfoot, you need something that feels solid, cool, and earthy. The undisputed champion here is terracotta tile. These are clay tiles, often unglazed, in a rich, orangey red hue. They are porous. They develop a beautiful patina over time, and each one is slightly different from the next. The classic pattern is a simple square, but they can also be hexagons or laid in a herringbone pattern for a slightly more formal look. If the bold color of terracotta feels like too much, you can opt for saltillo tiles, which are a similar clay tile, but in softer, more varied hues of yellow, orange, and brown. For a more rustic, farmhouse feel, wide plank, dark-stained wood floors are also authentic. And in kitchens, bathrooms, and entryways, don't forget the power of ceramic tiles or cement tiles with beautiful, repetitive patterns. We'll dive deeper into tiles later, but for the floor, think durability, think earthiness, think history. And finally, perhaps the most iconic architectural feature, the arch. Rounded arches are everywhere in Spanish design, in doorways, windows, hallways, and those niches we talked about. The arch softens the hard lines of a room, creating a fluid, graceful transition between spaces. It evokes the Moorish influence and adds a sense of timeless elegance. Replacing a standard rectangular door frame with an arched one is a significant renovation, but it has an immense impact. If that's not possible, you can create the illusion of an arch with built-in shelving, or by using a tall, arched mirror or piece of furniture to draw the eye upward. The goal with all these architectural bones is to create a sense of permanence and shelter. The thick walls, the solid floors, the protective vigas overhead, they all work together to make you feel nestled, safe, and connected to a design tradition that has stood the test of time. Section 3. A Symphony of Texture and Textiles, the Art of Layering Comfort. With our strong architectural bones in place, it's time to dress the space. And this is where the true magic of comfort and warmth comes alive. Spanish design is a masterclass in the layering of textures. While the architecture provides the solid, rustic foundation, the textiles and soft furnishings are what make it feel like a home, a place you never want to leave. We are moving from the grand and structural to the intimate and tactile. The aim here is to create a symphony where every note, every texture, plays its part in creating a harmonious and deeply inviting whole. If the walls and floors are the baseline, solid and grounding, then the textiles are the melody, rich, varied, and full of feeling. Let's start with the largest textile in most rooms, the rugs. You want rugs that feel handcrafted and natural. Avoid sleek, synthetic, machine-made patterns. Instead, think of thick wool boucheroute rugs from Morocco, which share a strong stylistic link with Spain, with their vibrant, abstract, and tribal patterns. Think of rough, natural jute or sisal rugs that provide a wonderful, nubby contrast to smooth tile or wood floors. Or opt for a classic Spanish-style rug with a more formal, repeating geometric or floral motif in a rich, subdued color palette. The rug is your foundation layer, and it should feel like it has a story to tell. On top of this, we build with throws and pillows. This is your opportunity to inject color, pattern, and immense softness. Materials are key. Look for chunky wool knits, soft, washed cotton, nubby linen, and even buttery leather. Don't be afraid to mix and match. A sleek leather pillow can look stunning next to a heavily embroidered linen one. The goal is not a matchy-matchy sofa set, but a collected, evolved look, as if each piece was acquired from a different market over many years. Now, let's talk about window treatments. Heavy, formal drapery is the enemy of this style. Remember, Spanish design is about embracing light and air while providing shade. The ideal solution is simple, natural, and graceful. Linen curtains are your best friend here. Choose them in a natural, off-white, or earthy tone, and hang them from a simple, wrought iron rod. Let them be full and flowing, pooling slightly on the floor. They will filter the sunlight beautifully, creating a soft, dappled effect in the room. For a more rustic look, wooden blinds or simple roll-up shades made of natural fiber like bamboo or reed are also perfectly authentic. The idea is to frame the window, not block it out entirely. You want to feel connected to the outdoors, even when you're nestled inside. And we cannot talk about Spanish textiles without mentioning the iconic tapestry or wall hanging. In medieval and Renaissance Spain, large, woven tapestries were used to insulate cold stone walls and to display wealth and artistry. You can incorporate this tradition in a modern way. A large textural wall hanging made of wool or cotton above a bed or sofa adds an incredible amount of warmth and artistry to a room. It acts as a piece of soft architecture. Finally, consider the textiles on your tables and surfaces. A heavy, woven table runner on a long dining table, or a piece of intricate lace on a small side table, adds one more layer of detail and craft. Every time you introduce a new textile, ask yourself, does this feel natural? Does it feel handmade? Does it invite touch? If the answer is yes, you are layering your way towards a space that is not just visually stunning, but is an absolute sanctuary for the senses. Section 4. The Fiery Heart, Color Palettes that Tell a Story. Color in Spanish design is never an afterthought. It is emotion. It is energy. It is the fiery heart of the home, reflecting the passionate spirit of the culture and the breathtaking beauty of its landscapes. While many people might picture Spanish colors as being overwhelmingly warm and saturated, the reality is far more nuanced and incredibly versatile. There are two primary palettes at play here, and understanding how to use them and even blend them is the key to creating a space that feels both authentic and uniquely yours. The first is the earthy, neutral palette, and the second is the vibrant, jewel-toned palette. Let's immerse ourselves in the earthy neutrals first, because this is the foundation upon which everything is built. Close your eyes and imagine the Spanish countryside. You see the whitewashed walls of a village, bleached by the sun, not a cold, sterile white, but a warm, creamy, almost luminous white. You see the rich, reddish brown of terracotta, the very earth itself, baked in the sun. You see the deep, charcoal gray of wrought iron on gates and window grills. You see the various browns of wood, from the honey tones of old pine to the dark, almost black espresso of aged chestnut. And you see the muted green-gray of olive grove. This palette is serene, grounding, and timeless. It creates a calm, cohesive backdrop that allows the textures, the rough stucco, the grainy wood, the nubby textiles to truly sing. This is a perfect palette if you want a more subdued, meditative, and organic modern feel. You can live with these colors forever. They are the colors of the earth and the sky at dusk, forever in harmony. Then there is the vibrant palette, the colors of the fiesta, the market, and the artist's palette. These are the accents that make the heart beat faster. Think of the brilliant cobalt blue of a summer sky, a color often found in ceramic tiles and pottery. Think of the sunny, optimistic sunflower yellow, the passionate, bold Spanish red the color of flamenco dresses and ripe pomegranates, the rich, regal, majestic purple, and the deep, earthy saffron orange. Now, the secret to using these powerful colors without overwhelming your space is to let them be the supporting actors, not the stars. Use them in doses. A collection of cobalt blue vases on a whitewashed shelf. A throw pillow in saffron orange on a neutral sofa. A set of dining chairs painted in sunflower yellow. Or, most authentically, through tile work, which we will discuss next. These vibrant colors are the exclamation points in your sentence. They provide the joy, the surprise, the passion. The true artistry comes in blending these two palettes. A room with entirely earthy neutrals can feel incredibly serene, but might lack a spark of energy. A room with too much vibrant color can feel chaotic and exhausting. The magic happens in the balance. Imagine a room with whitewashed walls, a terracotta tile floor, and dark wood vigas overhead. That's our earthy foundation. Now, we add a large cobalt blue and white pattern tile as a kitchen backsplash. Instantly, the room comes to life. Or, we drape a vibrant red and yellow striped blanket over a neutral linen sofa. The contrast is what creates the dynamism. Look to nature for guidance. The brilliant blue sky against the red earth. The vibrant green of an olive tree against a white wall. Your home should tell a similar story. Don't be afraid of color, but respect its power. Use the earthy tones to create your sanctuary, and the vibrant tones to express your joy within it. Section 5. The jewelry, tiles, ironwork, and artisan accents. If the architecture is the bones and the textiles are the clothing, then the decorative accents are the jewelry, the pieces that add personality, sparkle, and a definitive sense of place. This is where you can truly let your individuality shine, and where the celebration of craftsmanship becomes most apparent. In Spanish design, the accents are rarely frivolous. They are often functional objects, elevated to art through the skill of the artisan. We're going to focus on 3 key areas of jewelry, tiles, ironwork, and pottery. Getting these details right is what elevates a theme to an authentic experience. Let's start with tiles, or azulejos. This is arguably one of the most beloved and recognizable elements of Spanish decor. Tiles are not just for floors. They are used on walls, as stair risers, as kitchen backsplashes, as tabletops, and to create beautiful accent borders. The patterns are endless. You have the intricate, geometric, Moorish-inspired patterns, often in a monochromatic blue and white, or green and white. You have the more floral, pictorial tiles that tell a story. And you have the wonderfully vibrant Talavera tiles from Mexico, which carry the Spanish tradition forward with their bold colors and folk art patterns. The key to using tiles modernly is to use them as a focal point, not on every surface. A full wall of patterned tile in a bathroom, or as a kitchen backsplash, is stunning. Using them just on the stair risers adds a delightful surprise. A tiled fireplace surround becomes an instant piece of art. Mixing and matching different but complementary tile patterns in the same space is a very authentic, collected look. Next, wrought iron or foria. Ironwork in Spain is strong, functional, and beautiful. It's used in lighting, furniture, stair railings, window grills, and as hardware. Look for pieces that have a hand-forged feel, with hammer marks, organic curves, and a substantial presence. A massive wrought iron chandelier with candle-style lights, even if they're electric, hanging over a dining table is a classic centerpiece. Iron-based tables, bed frames, and console tables add a feeling of strength and permanence. Don't overlook the smaller details. Cabinet pulls, door handles, and hinge straps in a dark wrought iron finish can transform the feel of a piece of furniture or a door. The iron provides a necessary counterpoint to all the soft textures and warm colors. A dark, linear element that grounds the space and adds a touch of Gothic romance. Finally, we have pottery and art objects. Spanish homes are filled with objects that reflect the culture and the hand of the maker. Large earthenware vessels, called tinajas, were traditionally used for storing oil or grain and now make magnificent sculptural statements in a corner or by a fireplace. Talavera pottery from Mexico, with its bright, hand-painted designs, is perfect for adding pops of color on shelves or as a centerpiece on a table. Also, consider textured baskets made of esparto grass or palm for storage, rustic wooden bowls and cutting boards in the kitchen, and religious iconography or folk art if it resonates with you personally. The goal is to build a collection over time, pieces that you love and that have meaning. Avoid buying a matched set of decor. Instead, curate. Each piece should feel like a souvenir from a life well lived, a fragment of a story that, when put together, tells the beautiful, ongoing story of your home and family. Section 6. Room by Room Transformation. Practical Applications. Now that we have our toolkit of principles, materials, and colors, let's get practical. How does this all come together in the specific rooms of your home? Let's take a walk through and imagine the transformation room by room. We'll start in the heart of the home, the kitchen. This should be a warm, functional, and social space. For cabinets, think simple. You can use a painted finish in a warm white or an earthy green, but a classic choice is flat panel wood cabinets in a dark stain. Countertops should be natural stone. Think honed marble, granite, or even a beautiful, thick wood butcher block. The backsplash is your star. This is the perfect place for those vibrant, patterned tiles we talked about. For lighting, a large wrought iron chandelier or a series of pendant lights over a central island is ideal. The island itself can be a rustic wood table or a stone-topped piece. Open shelving to display your beautiful talavera, pottery, and rustic dishes is a must. The overall feel should be that of a country farmhouse where generations of amazing meals have been prepared. Moving into the living room, the goal is comfort and conversation. Center the room around a focal point, which is often a large, rustic wooden coffee table. This can be an old, repurposed door on trestles, a massive slice of a tree trunk, or a low, sturdy table with a wrought iron base. Arrange your seating to face each other, not just the television, to encourage talking. The sofa should be deep and comfortable, upholstered in a durable, natural fabric like linen or cotton in a neutral color. Then, layer it with all those textured pillows and throws. The rug underneath should be substantial, a jute or a patterned wool rug that grounds the seating area. On the walls, besides the textured finish, consider a large, dark wood mirror with an ornate iron frame, or a collection of oil paintings in heavy, gilded frames. The lighting should be warm and ambient. Use table lamps with ceramic bases and linen shades, and plenty of candles in wrought iron holders. This is a room that says, "Come in, sit down, stay a while." In the bedroom, we want to create a sanctuary, a retreat from the world. The bed is the throne. A massive dark wood bed frame with tall, carved posts or a simpler wrought iron frame sets the tone. Layer the bed with the finest linens you can afford. Think crisp, white cotton or soft, rumpled linen. Add a chunky, wool knit throw at the foot of the bed. The bedside tables don't need to match. An old wooden chest on one side and a simple iron stand on the other is perfectly authentic. Lighting should be soft. Avoid bright overhead lights. Use wall sconces or table lamps with warm bulbs. A small woven rug on either side of the bed feels lovely underfoot in the morning. Keep the color palette here more subdued and neutral, promoting rest and relaxation. But you can add a single pop of vibrant color in a piece of art or a single pillow. And let's not forget the outdoor space. Spanish life flows seamlessly between indoors and out. A courtyard, a patio, or even a small balcony can be transformed into your own patio andaluz. The floor should be terracotta tiles or natural stone. Furnish it with a heavy wooden table and chairs, or a wrought iron set. Add color with patterned, outdoor-proof pillows. The most important element? Water. A small tiered fountain, even a wall-mounted one, is non-negotiable. The sound of trickling water is the soundtrack to a Spanish afternoon, creating an atmosphere of instant calm. Fill the space with potted plants, olive trees, lavender, rosemary, and geraniums in terracotta pots. String up some simple, cafe-style lights for the evening. This becomes an outdoor room, an extension of your home, perfect for dining al fresco or simply enjoying a quiet moment in the sun. Transforming your home with authentic Spanish interior design is about so much more than decor. It's a decision to live more deeply, more soulfully. It's a commitment to choosing character over conformity, warmth over coolness, and life over mere existence. It's about building a home that doesn't just house your body, but that nurtures your spirit. Start with one element. Maybe it's a gallon of warm, white paint to replace a cold gray. Maybe it's a single terracotta pot for a plant. Maybe it's a chunky knit throw for your sofa. Feel the difference that one authentic textural element makes. Let that be the seed from which your new, sun-drenched, and soulful home grows. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I can't wait to see what you create. Now, go and bring a little espaga into your world.
Ba 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 ba.